Hey everybody, it's Chad Warren here at the Adventurer Channel. Got a project I want your help with. In general, I'm trying to figure out ways to apply the interest we online truth seekers, independent researchers have into the real world. One of those ways would be to learn how to make computer applications to address various ideas, the fact that we're probably fairly autistic behaving to be independent researchers. What are ways we can monitor our behavior and be productive and happy? Another one is I enjoyed the David Lynch movie Dune growing up. My dad took me to see it. They handed out little pamphlets similar to what you would see if you go to an opera, which introduces you to the main characters of the film. I wish I had that little book now. I probably could buy it cheap. But anyway, there is a scene, and it's similar to one in Blade Runner in using art to show an idea that was well ahead of its time, that it's kind of interesting to me about this time that we live in where technology is so influential and ubiquitous, yet there's also a lot of low hanging fruit because there's a lot more users and copiers of information than actual novel creators. So obviously the merger of the creative arts and computer programming is exciting. And in Blade Runner, they have the uh, viewer machine that Deckard puts the Polaroid type or a picture into the viewer, and then we see it on the screen, and he's able to speak to the device and zoom in on items, and then of course it has a 3D effect where you can peer around corners than are more than what is visual in the 2D image. In Dune, Paul Atreides speaks to the computer, which is funny right there, right? I mean, everybody knows you can tap the microphone on Google or Siri and speak to it, but very few people use that. It was this asshole uh, painter that I worked for that used that every day driving in his truck as he would curse out the mayor about some building code situation or whatever as he worked on slum houses. But it was definitely his influence that got me to use that. So I like see people saying, "Well, I can't type very well. What are you retarded? Hit the microphone." You know what I mean? So I'm excited about practical ways we can really jump ahead as we do approach the singularity that is what's going on here. So, Paul is able to access a visual internet that he can speak with, and that's a low hanging fruit. Obviously, memes are dominant because of the success of their influence in the Trump presidential election, to the point that literally the progressive left that has gone completely nuts. I mean, as are the alt right people, but I mean, literally, college campuses freak out and call the cops on a person that put up a poster simply of a picture of Pepe the Frog. That really did happen, okay? So, just as dumb as that is why we're not even more visual. Obviously, it's a Back to the Future, whether it's neo feudalism or the rise of symbolism, as you see below me, modern hieroglyphics. So let's make that visual internet. Who's with me? Here's the scene from Dune I'm referring to. This movie was called A Turkey at the time.
The powerful Bene Gesserit sisterhood for 90 generations has been manipulating bloodlines to produce the Kwisatz Haderach, a super being. On Caladan, Jessica, a member of the sisterhood and the bound concubine of Duke Leto Atreides, had been ordered to bear only daughters. Because of her love for the Duke, she disobeyed and gave birth to a son, Paul Atreides.
Each one of us today with the powers of a prince because of the internet.
Now, Caladan, and 19 light years beyond beneath lilacs.
The training planet of the Mentats, the human computers. Know a Mentat by his red-stained lips.
There, Arrakis.
Spice mining. Carrioles lower the harvester to the sand and lift it off to safety when a worm attacks. Worms attack all rhythmic vibrations. Weather. Sea storms. No precipitation.
Never one drop of rain on Arrakis. And the Harkonnens are near. There, Giedi Prime and the Baron Harkonnen. The enemy.
The Baron Harkonnen has sworn to destroy House Atreides and steal the ducal signet ring for himself.
So, paradoxically, it is the wingnut defense forces of the SJWs and InfoWarriors, the independent folk on the internet that have the opportunity to provide a true value to the populace at large, and it is to clean up the ghetto of the internet. My God, internet forums suck. Obviously, we can get rid of all this repetition and unhelpfulness in curating a manageable information resource. Can you imagine how much we can speed things up this year by implementing this, starting with simply creating quality memes and transmitting them through social media such as Gab and Twitter, and then building up from there into an alternative browser search engine. Because right now, as much as I do like that microphone Google search feature, I can't, anything that it ever starts talking about is unwelcome. I need to figure out how to turn that off. And I see it. I saw it on Sam Tripoli trying to share, when you do a live show, you want to be able to share the internet. And that thing, come on and talk to you about something you didn't need to know, which is slowing you down. We can do better. Let's do this.